Hey, Oliver, where are you right now? I finally had our baby and you're not even around to come and see its face?
I'm sorry, Karen. I had some things going on.
You had things going on that are more important than your baby being born? Even both my parents and your parents are here with me. Why is the father of this child the only one not present?
If you already have your mom and dad and my parents there to see the baby, then I don't have to be there, right? I'm busy at the moment, getting ready to run off with a new woman. So please just shut up for me.
What? Did you just say you're going to run off with a new woman?
Sorry about that, Karen. I'm not going to be able to stick around with you to raise that baby. I'm leaving this house, so please care for it on your own.
Huh? You hold it right there. What do you mean you're not sticking around to raise our baby? And you're running off with a new woman? Are you telling me that while I've been pregnant, you've been cheating on me with another woman?
Hey. Don't get too far ahead of yourself there. I've not been cheating on you. It's only that I haven't been able to forget about my ex-girlfriend this whole time.
Your ex-girlfriend?
I'm sure I've told you about her before, right? This is the ex-girlfriend that I'd been dating for 10 years before I married you. A lot happened between us, so we were never able to go through with the marriage. But this whole time I've been with you, I've still had a bit of fire in my heart for her.
What?
I thought that by getting married to you, that love for her would fade. And by having a kid with you, that would do the trick for getting me to forget her, but even after hearing that we were having a kid, I've not been able to forget her. So that's why I've gone ahead and told her that I want her back.
You're lying, right? Wait a second. I have gone 9 months now carrying our baby that you wanted me to have so badly for you and never getting a break during that whole time. And now, after I had just gone through labor to have our baby, you're going to tell me that you're running back to your ex-girlfriend?
I only texted her about it today, but to my surprise, she said it was totally fine for me to go back to her. It looks like I wasn't the only one wanting to go back to the past relationship I had with her. She told me that after hearing about how I'd gotten married to you, she's been sad this whole time. She wants me back with her, so I have no other choice now but to go back.
So you're telling me that the plan now is to run back to her and then the both of you are going to peace out? Even though your baby was just born?
Oh, nobody's going to stop the love we have with one another. There are plenty of single mothers in this world, so you'll be just fine. So I'm leaving the baby and all that in your hands now.
No way.
I'm going to be running off now, so you can go ahead and keep living in that house. You won't even have to pay any rent for the place, so that should make life a little bit easier for you, right?
Please, Oliver, come here right now. I would like for all of us to talk about this before you just run off like that. You haven't even taken a look at your baby's face either. I'm sure when you take a good look at your baby's face, your mind will be changed. Hey, you're going to try to use your baby to keep your relationship together? That's not a good sign. I guess after becoming a mother, you forgot how to be a decent human, huh? What? Nice to meet you, Karen. This is Oliver's ex-girlfriend, Amber. I'm glad you made it through the labors of giving birth to a child, and I'm sorry that I am stealing Oliver from you now. Ah, you're Oliver's ex-girlfriend? He and I are married right now, and I just gave birth to our child. You give Oliver back to me right now. Say that all you want to me, but Oliver is only interested in me now, and I'm not giving him back to you because he was mine in the first place. Huh? There is not another man around me who is as cool and kind as Oliver. And back when I heard about him marrying another woman besides me, I was really heartbroken. But to hear that even after having a child with you, he would still rather be back in my arms, well, it's gotten me all excited. I'm sorry for being such a gorgeous ex-girlfriend. Well, it's not that I'm so gorgeous, but rather you're just not good-looking enough. It's really sad that you weren't able to keep your husband away from his ex. Excuse me? Well, good luck being a single mother. In return, I'll make sure to make Oliver the happy man he always should have been around you. Just think of that baby as being Oliver and raise it with all the love you gave him.
Hey, can you give me that house soon? I'm not happy about how you went and changed the lock on the door without ever telling me.
What? Oliver?
Jesus. It's been 10 years and I'm wanting to come back into my house. And now I can't even get in. Hurry up and let me in. Do you have any idea whose house this is?
Wait a second, Oliver. You came all the way back to this house? Even though 10 years ago you ran off with that Amber chick of yours?
Amber and I have broken up. That's why I've made the trip all the way back to my house.
You guys broke up?
Well, a lot happened. And after breaking up, I thought I should find a place to lay low for a while and be by myself. That's when I thought about my house, and I haven't been back in a long time. That's why I want you to get to it and let me inside. I'm the owner of this house.
So since you've come all the way back here, does this mean you want to live with us again? You want to be with me? And with my daughter?
Are you kidding? Why would I want to live with the woman I left behind 10 years ago? And that daughter of yours, I've never even seen her before. I've nothing to do with that brat, so there's no way I want to be living here with two of you here as well. I've come all the way back here, so you and that kid of yours, get out of there now.
What did you say?
Why are you getting so upset? The owner is back in town, so I have the final say. I've been so kind these past 10 years, letting you both stay in here. But now that I want the place back for myself, you squatters need to get lost.
You hold it right there. I don't mind having to leave this house, but what do you mean you have nothing to do with my daughter? You are still her father, whether you want to accept that or not.
I get that she shares the same blood as me, so biologically I'm her father. It's been 10 years. I still haven't seen her face yet. It'd be wild of me to think of her as my family. I don't know who she is.
What the?
Also, since I ran off the moment she was born, that means she's now, 10 years old, right? Had I come back after a year when she was still a baby, she'd probably still be cute to me. But now she's one of those annoying little runts that goes to elementary school. I actually hate brats her age the most. I cannot stand their high-pitched voices and stupid behaviour.
You really love to call your own daughter a brat? I guess you never stopped growing into a worse person after leaving me. I haven't even heard a sorry from you yet for leaving me 10 years ago. All you're back here for is the house, showing no emotion towards me or your daughter and just wanting us gone.
Say whatever you'd like about me, but this house is still going to be mine. My name is on it after all. So you don't get a say in what I do with it and who gets to live in it. If anything, you should be thankful I've let you live here for 10 years without kicking you both out. I want to hear you thank me. Right now.
Huh? You think you were being so kind, but did you forget about paying things like child support? I am not going to give you anything back now after 10 years of having to literally support my daughter on my own.
Oh, what are you going on about now? This house was built in one of the best parts of town. The cost of having to pay taxes and for utilities on a place like that costs far more than even 2 months of child support. So think of all those costs that I've been paying off as part of the child support. Since you've been able to raise your daughter in such a good part of town, I'm sure she's grown into a good little girl, right? They always say to have a good neighbourhood when raising a kid, and this place is perfect for her.
They say good environment, not neighborhood. The neighborhood is, of course, important, but it's not everything. There are things like whether the child has both parents around them and whether or not there is a stable flow of money into the house. And there has to be enough activities going on to keep the child happy. There are a lot of things that are really important to a child for their growth, meaning that it's not only about the neighborhood.
You're starting to talk too much. I've had enough of your whining, so go grab the little brat and get out of here. What other choice do you have? Do you think you can just keep living in there without paying for anything? Well, I don't mind calling the police on you right now, having them arrest you for trespassing.
Excuse me?
Then, when you go to court, I'll have the judge make you pay me back for the last 10 years of living in that house. How does that sound to you? But remember, a poor single mother like you would never have the kind of money to pay me all that, so think wisely right now.
You have really fallen into hell, haven't you? All you care about is yourself. And never think for a second that there could be other things going on that don't revolve around you. I wonder how much longer you'll be able to get away with being a totally selfish prick before someone bigger than you comes along and squashes you.
Shut up. I'm done with all this. Now, get the hell out of my house. This is my house. My name is on the place and I've been living there forever. And I don't need some poor woman and her annoying brat living in it anymore. Give me my dang house back.
We've moved out of there a long time ago.
What?
So tell the person currently living there that and see what they think. From the very start, my daughter and I haven't been in that house.
Hey, what do you mean by that? Who's living in this house now, then? You're telling me that you haven't been living in this house with your daughter for the past 10 years.
The moment I had my baby, my husband ran off with another chick, right? After something like that, it was pretty obvious to me that I wouldn't be able to raise her in that large house when it's just the two of us. So right after getting out of the hospital, I took my baby and some things and went back to my parents' house. And with the help of my mom and dad, I've been able to raise my daughter with not too many worries.
Huh? I have been letting you borrow this house all this time, and you haven't even been living in it.
I never asked for you to let us live in it while you ran off, right? But leaving a house empty like that isn't a great use of such a gorgeous place, right? And not too long after going back to my parents' house, there were people asking to live in it.
Don't you freaking dare tell me you've been renting the place out to some strangers now.
Don't worry. You happen to know the person just as much as I do, so they're not a stranger.
So then the person living here, I know them.
Someone you know, or one might say, a friend of a friend. I happen to let your ex-girlfriend's parents move into that house.
What? Amber's parents?
At the time, they felt the most responsible for what happened. They even came all the way out to the hospital to apologize to my parents and I for what their daughter did. And as a way of showing that they were sorry, they said they'd go live in your house that you left behind.
Wait. This doesn't make any sense. Why'd they come and live in my house as a way of apologizing to you? What kind of apology is that?
They both told me that they wanted to catch the two of you in order to get you both to pay me back for all you'd done. So they'd said they'd stay in your house and wait for the eventual day you'd come back to it.
What?
They said they didn't mind how long it took you to come back because the longer it took you to come back, the longer they got to live in that nice home. They also told me that when they were able to catch you, they'd make sure you both paid a settlement to me and all the child support you owe. So I told them it was the perfect way of saying sorry to me and let them move in a few days after I had my daughter.
So you're telling me that at this house, the one I've been banging on the door for the past 30 minutes.
That's where Amber's parents are living. So now that I know you're there, I'm going to give them a call. I'll let them both know that the man outside their house right now is the one we've been looking for. The one that ran off with their daughter, leaving his wife and baby behind. That crappy excuse for a man. I'm calling them right now.
What?
A lot happened that made you both break up. I've known for a long time about how you both broke up. The moment that Amber became pregnant, you told her that you hate kids and then left her.
No.
I always thought that the moment you left her, you'd come right back home. And not even a day after hearing about you leaving her, you're right back in town. Well, good luck now. You are going to have to deal with her parents now, as well as with whoever else might be involved, like Amber and her baby. I'm also going to let your parents know that you're back in town.
No freaking way. This is, not good. You're joking, right? There's no way her parents are living here. Amber's parents are crazy.
I don't think you should call them crazy. But you're not wrong to be afraid of them, especially when they both work for the state police. I heard that the two of them have a lot of influence in both the police force and in the court system. That's why they're both dead set on having you pay me everything I'm owed. Now, good luck with what happens next.
Please help me. If I can't get out of this mess, I'm going to be killed.
Huh?
Amber's parents are so pissed off with me right now that I'm scared for my life. Her dad is holding an axe in one hand and has been standing right beside me the whole time. They keep yelling at me, asking why I threw you away after having our baby, and then ran off with their daughter. And they're asking me why I've done it twice now. Her dad keeps telling me that I'm going to take responsibility for all my actions, and that the only other choice for me lies on the other end of that X.
Well, they want to know why you did all that. You left me and my baby to run off with their daughter 10 years ago. And by how they apologized to me back then, they weren't all too happy with you, but then, just a decade later, you did the same thing again, but this time to their daughter who just had her baby. And you thought you could just run back to your house and not be punished for all that? I don't blame them for wanting to kill you.
But I never wanted a kid. The reason I ran away from you was to be alone with her and live life as only the two of us. But recently, Amber just kept going on and on and on about wanting a baby of her own. She must have stopped taking birth control without telling me, and that's how she got pregnant. And after telling me she was pregnant, she instantly started talking about the cost of raising a baby and that we need to change in order to become proper parents for it. I was freaked out at the time by how quickly things changed on me. I didn't know what to do.
So you've just been destined to always run off with other women the moment your current lady has a kid? But this time, things changed for you, right? This time, instead of finding another woman to run off with, leaving Amber behind, you left her and ran back to your house to try and live as a single man. All in order to run from your responsibilities again, huh? What a joke you are.
What did you call me?
This is going to be your last chance to take responsibility for all you've done. There is no more running away from everything you've done, and you'll have to answer for it all now. There isn't even a place for you to hide anymore.
This is screwed. It looks like Amber has come here now as well. Her parents called for her to come here while her dad was dealing with me, and now they're all here waiting to welcome me into hell. I can hear everyone yelling at me to be a man and take responsibility for everything I've done. I'm screwed. This is it for me.
That's right. Now that you've come back out of hiding, you're going to have to pay 10 years worth of child support to me and another 8 years after. Then you are going to be asked to marry, forced to marry Amber and live a life under tight control as her parents watch your every move, trying to take care of her and your baby. I really hope they're able to help you along in a life that is more than just you running at every chance you get.
What? I have to pay you child support as well?
Of course you did, you idiot. Even if you don't love my daughter any, she is still your child. Your parents have been kind enough to send me money every so often, but that doesn't make up for everything you should owe me. And there are still years to come that you'll have to send me money. So now that you are aware of all that, have a nice time talking with everyone some more. Hey, what the hell is up with this invoice you've sent me? Why do I have to pay you a settlement now? You're asking me? Because you went and stole my husband from me. For a long time now, I didn't know where you guys ran off to, so I couldn't send you the information about it. So I'm really happy you both are back in town now. I will finally be able to get all the money I deserve. I'm not messing around here. I have a child now that I need to support. Who in their right mind would take money from a new mother? Well, that's your situation now, but 10 years ago you didn't have a kid. And by the way, the only reason you were able to get married to Oliver was because of me, right? I was finally able to get that divorce from Oliver after he came back, giving you the chance to be his wife finally. You finally will never have to worry about becoming a single mother because your husband is forced to be with you. I want you to thank me for all that and give me the money I've asked for. Shut up. I'm not thankful for any of this now that it's all going to be the worst marriage in the history of man. I would much rather be a single mother now instead of having to pay you all this money. You would? But you were finally married to Oliver, but you'd rather lose all that so you don't have to pay me? My life with him is horrible and would only be made worse by having to pay you. I was happy at first to have my dad force him to marry me, but this isn't the marriage I thought we'd have. Oliver won't even look at me anymore, and I feel just as alone as I did without him around. What makes all of this worse is that he has to pay a lot of money as well, so his excuse to me for never being around is that he's working all day. And the moment he gets home, he goes right to bed. He doesn't seem to give a crap about me and the baby, and it's making me want to give up on life. Wow. Well, that's not quite a romantic and loving marriage, now is it? And after trying to talk with my dad about it, he just tells me to shut up and be happy for what I have. I thought he was here to support me, and it doesn't feel that way at all. My dad's even told me that he did his part getting Oliver to marry me and that he doesn't care about what happens after. Nobody in this world is listening to me. I even tried going back to see my mom and dad, but they won't let me into their house unless I bring the baby. Well, I don't blame them. They had to do everything in their power to get your life back on track with Oliver, and after having to wait 10 years to do that, they've had enough. I'm sure they still love you and all that, but deep down they just really want to focus on their own lives and not their petty and annoying daughter. With the way things are going, though, I'm not going to be able to raise my baby. I never knew that Oliver hated kids this much. I thought that after getting married, he'd stop whining about the baby, but he's only gotten worse. If nothing changes with him, then my child is going to grow up with practically no father. Don't worry. I was able to raise my daughter without ever having her father around. If anything, you'll be better off than me because your husband is still in the house with you and making money for your baby. Huh? So please stop whining about how hard your life is and be happy with what you have. I already spoke with Oliver about this, but the environment a baby is raised in is very important. So do your best to raise them in a place where they feel loved and supported. And don't forget, you still owe me money, and I'd like that sent to me soon. After that, I was able to get both settlements sent to my bank account from Oliver and Amber. This was also followed by the remaining child support I required from Oliver in this month's as well. I'm not sure how they were all able to pay me that quickly, but something tells me their parents stepped in to pay me for them. And when it comes to how those two are living together now, they are still not able to converse with one another, and their marriage really is just the most depressing thing. And even with his baby at home and his wife asking him to help out all the time, Oliver goes to work from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day trying to make money in order to pay off all he owes. Amber's pretty much been left on her own with her baby and is trying her best to make things work with what little she has. When it comes to myself, I've finally been given all the money I'd been wanting, and am now able to take my family on a trip to some theme park to treat my daughter to the fun she's been wanting to have. I know that from here, I'm going to have to start saving up for her future choices of going to college or something, so having this money from both Oliver and Amber has made it a lot easier to entertain my girl.
Gina, are you there? I just have to know if this is true. I heard that your ex-husband is the company president of Grape Co., like the one that's on all the magazine covers and stuff. His name is George, isn't it?
Excuse me? Why in the world are you talking to me about this, Trish?
Well, it's just Ben was letting me look through some old family photos that you had in the house. There was an old photo with you standing next to a man, and I finally recognized who he is. It was so weird because the pictures were old, but I felt like I had seen that man from somewhere. And now I finally realized that he's George Grape, the head of Grape Co.
Wow, well, I have to say I'm impressed you could tell from such an old photo.
Is that all you have to say about it? That's a little underwhelming, to be honest.
Well, I'm afraid there's really not much to get all that excited about. I mean, he wasn't a company president or CEO or whatever when we were going out. I didn't hear that he'd started his own company until after he and I had broken up, but I guess now he's some kind of hotshot in the industry.
But why didn't you ever try to fix things with him after you heard about who he was? Think about the life you could have had if you did. You could be posting on Insta every day from a new car or showing off your huge house. Just think about it. You should text him right now and ask him out.
I'm sorry, Trish, but I really have no interest at all in getting back together with George. In fact, I don't even know if marrying him would mean getting more money. I remember when we were married, he would always blow through our monthly budgets like it was nothing. He even stole Ben's allowance at times. And in the end, he finally cheated on me and ran off to be with another woman. So I hope you understand why I have no intention of getting back together with him.
Whoa, what? You mean you just forgave him for all that he did and just let him go like that? And now he's a huge deal all over the world? I mean, who cares about what happened in the past if you can milk George for all that he's worth now? You deserve to have nice things, too. Just think of the cars, the mansions, the condos, the vacations. All of it could be yours.
Maybe it could, maybe it couldn't, but it really doesn't bother me either way.
After all, I don't even want those things. I enjoy my apartment and I enjoy my simple life. It's enough for me.
Oh, come on, Gina. You have to be more ambitious than that. What's the point of being satisfied with what you have? You're almost 30 years old and you're still working a dead-end job living in your small apartment. Don't you want more out of life? Aren't you sick of living the way that you are? Just think of where you could be living if you only swallowed your pride and asked George to take you back. It's the least you deserve. You really think that there's something wrong with the way that I live? I just finished telling you how comfortable I was. I'm sorry if that was rude of me to say, but I just wanted to be honest with you and share my thoughts about what you could be doing. Maybe it's because I'm from the country and I'm used to having a wider space to live in. To be honest, it's been difficult for me to adjust living in this cramped city. I mean, I feel like a dog in a cage some days that I'm here, and I was just shocked the first time that I came over to your house.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that you had moved here from Wisconsin. Was your house really that much bigger?
I feel like I could probably fit at least 7 of your apartments in the old house that I grew up in back out there. But to see the house that Ben would have grown up in with you, well, it just kind of really bummed me out. That's why you have to get back together with George. Then there wouldn't be any need for you to live in this tiny apartment anymore. It's not like there aren't big places in the city. You just need more money to get there.
Well, while I appreciate your suggestion, Trish, I really just have no intention at all of getting back together with George. It was one of the happiest days of my life when he and I were divorced. Besides, he cheated on me and left me to be with another woman. Why in the world would I want to get with someone who treated me so poorly in the past?
Oh my gosh, Gina, I really can't believe how much you are missing the forest for the trees here. I mean, if you're not going to do this for yourself, then can you think of Ben and I at least? Think of all the ways that we could all use George's money. Are you really going to let your pride get in the way of your son's future prosperity?
And just what is that supposed to mean?
I mean that if you get back together with George, then Ben might have a chance of taking over Grape Co. when George steps down. And if he does that, then that means that I'll be the wife of a CEO and never ever have to work another day in my life. So please don't let your pride ruin the chances for me to have the dream life that I've always wanted to have.
You really want to live in some fancy condo that badly, Trish?
Well, it's not just that. I mean, think of what will happen at our wedding. So many rich people would be invited because of George, and we'd make out like bandits with cash gifts.
Trish, I really don't think that you're thinking about this realistically. I mean, do you not think you're taking this fantasy just a little too far?
Fantasy? The only one living in a fantasy is you if you really think that it's okay to live the way that you're living. This is your chance to escape from it all. I mean, how can you be blind to the sad life that you're living right now? I just can't understand why you think this is okay.
Trish, I'm not saying that I don't see the points you're making. Yes, my apartment is rather small, and yes, I don't make all that much money. But the point is that it's my life, and I'm very comfortable where I am. So please stop trying to pressure me to change that.
Mom, are you there? It's just horrible. I can't believe it. Why didn't you ever tell me that my real dad was the CEO of a huge company?
I take it that Trish had something to do with this, didn't she?
Well, of course she did. She was the one who told me the whole truth about who my dad really is. I can't believe that I'm actually the son of Grape Co.'s own George Grape. And how could you hide this from me, Mom? What's the matter with you? I have a right to know this.
Ben, you've known who your father is this whole time, and I've told you that you don't want anything to do with that man. I know that he looks impressive on social media and all of that, but you don't know George like I do. I mean, when he left us behind, did you know that he even found a way to get out of paying child support?
I seriously can't believe that you're making excuses for yourself like this, Mom. What are you talking about? My dad gave me child support money all of the time. Or at least he tried to. But you were the one who always told him to take his money and never come back. But I know for a fact that my real dad never once forgot about me or chose to abandon me. And you have no idea how much pain it's caused me not being able to see him.
Don't tell me that you've actually found a way to reconnect with him.
I have, actually. In fact, Dad and I were just together earlier today, if you must know. It had been 20 years since you two divorced. I hadn't seen him since I was in elementary school. I can't even remember the last time I cried like that, but I did when I saw him today.
Ben, what is the matter with you? Why would you go and meet someone like that? He left us and never gave us a cent of child support, and he never once reached out to contact you.
You're not reading my messages, Mom. He did offer me money and has asked to meet me countless times, but that I never took him up on his offer was secretly crushing me this whole time. That's why I was so happy to finally get to meet him. He even gave me $20,000 as back pay.
What? Did he really give you that much money?
That's right. What else could you expect from someone as impressive as him? I mean, for him, $20,000 was probably like a penny or something. But I never ever had that much money in my life before. I didn't even know what to say to him.
Well, you should tell him to take his money back. I am serious. You don't want anything to do with that man. And you probably don't even want to know what he had to do for that money. I know that he seems great right now, but I am telling you that he is nothing but trouble.
You really think that I'm going to give the money back? It's my money. He said it was all the child support he would have paid me. And now you're trying to tell me that I'm not entitled to that. You're just jealous, aren't you? You're mad because I got the money and you didn't.
Ben, you can't be serious about this. You don't actually think that's why I'm upset about this, do you? I am your mother, and I am only saying this to you for your own good.
How is any of this for my own good? You're just saying whatever you can to make yourself seem good so you can try and brainwash me.
You don't actually think that's what I'm doing, right, Ben?
Of course it is. Ever since I was little, you've only ever talked bad about my dad. You called him a cheater and a cheapskate, and that's all I ever knew about him. But now that I finally met him and listened to his side of the story, I know that the divorce was actually all your fault. Dad never did anything wrong.
Oh, come on. You really are just going to believe that it's all my fault your father and I got divorced?
Of course. He told me all about how you never ever supported him and how that pushed him to cheat on you.
And you're really buying that story?
Dad told me it was always his dream to own his own company, but that you were always shooting his ideas down and telling him to give up on his dreams and get a real job. You made Dad feel cornered and alone, so it's only natural that he would resort to cheating on you the way that he did. And yet you still had the gall to play victim. That's why Dad finally realized that it was hopeless trying to fix things with you and ran off.
I can't believe that you're really buying all of this. I thought you were smarter than this, Ben.
All you had to do was be a good wife and help Dad chase his goals. But instead you chose to run him off, and that's why you have the life you have now. This is what you get for not being there for Dad when you should have been.
Is this all what George told you? Ben, you cannot believe a single word that man says to you. I gave birth to you. I raised you on my own for 20 years, and you really think that I've been doing it all to hide the truth about your father from you?
You really want to try and play the mom card now. You're nothing but a poor old lady. It's all your fault that I grew up in a broken home with no father. You should have been there for him, but instead you got mad over an affair you forced him into. I could have been next in the line to take over his company.
And just what is wrong with the life I gave you growing up? I never remember you complaining about anything when you were a child. I was always there for you, always did my best to provide for you, and never ever had to send you to bed without making sure you'd eaten that day. I may only work part-time, but over my time working, I strived for any chance at career advancements and raises that I could get. I was even earning as much as a regular employee at my company for a while.
Oh, just shut up already. I'm sick and tired of you trying to spin the truth for me. I don't care how hard you say you worked. You still lied to me, and you stole my chance at a good life. I could have been driving fast cars, traveling the world, making tons of money, and instead we had to live together in your tiny little apartment.
I did all that I could for you. Why are you acting this way?
You read this message well, Mom. You are nothing but a poor old lady pretending to be someone she's not. I wish I had grown up with Dad instead of you. I'm never, ever going to come back to your tiny little apartment ever again.
Ben, please, you are acting absurd. I mean, you're really going to abandon your mother to be with your father who was never there for you?
That's right. I'm going to be with him, and he's going to take me in and give me a job, and then I'll be living in a huge condo. I'll be able to give Trish everything she wants, and we'll go and live with Dad in his penthouse. We'll eat out every night and never have to worry about how the poor live ever again.
Well, fine then. You're an adult and you're free to choose how you want to live. If that's what you want, then I won't stop you. But please, never say that you'll never come back home. I'll always be here for you, Ben.
No, I don't need to ever go back, and I won't. And I don't need you either. You're no mother of mine, so don't even bother showing up to my wedding.
Ben, please, you can't be serious about this, right?
Oh, I am. Now have a nice life, Mom. I never want to see you again.
Good morning, Gina. I'm sure that you know today is the day that Ben and I are going to get married. Yes, I am aware of that. Can I ask just why you're messaging me about it? Well, it's just that Ben wanted me to remind you that you aren't welcome at our wedding. I know that he told you already, but he wanted me to as well, so we could really drive it home. Just so you know that we aren't joking, and you better not be there. So you mean that you're really okay with this too? You don't care at all that your mother-in-law is banned from your own wedding? Of course I'm fine with it. I have no issue with that at all. In fact, I never wanted you here in the first place. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it is to think about just how poor my mother-in-law is? And so you two are still so convinced about how poor I am, huh? And you're still trying to convince yourself that you're not? Just seeing the state of your house, it was too obvious. But I'm not going to hang around and let my marriage be weighed down by a poor old woman like you. All my friends have great relationships with their mothers-in-law. Some of them even give my friends money as an allowance, and they told them they'd never ever need any nursing or help when they're older. But you, it's obvious that when you're older, you're going to be demanding money from Ben and I, so it's obviously better to get rid of you now. I see. Well, I guess I wasn't aware that you felt so strongly on the matter. It's really not even a choice when you think about it. A poor old mother-in-law or a rich and successful father-in-law. George is going to be our ticket to the top. He's going to let Ben take over his company, and then we'll be living in the lap of luxury for the rest of our lives. I can't believe that Ben is really choosing to live as George's son rather than my own. Are you really? I'm not. I'd make the same choice if I were him. Well, fine then. I'll skip going to your wedding, but I'm not sure you won't regret it. And just why in the world would we do that, huh? I'm done having this conversation with you. You both are adults, and if this is how you want to live your lives, then fine. You think it's not obvious how upset you are over this? Maybe if you showed up to the wedding crying and begging us to let you in, we might change our minds. Oh, I'm afraid I won't be the one crying by the end of this, but you just might be. You're not making any sense at all. What could possibly make me regret marrying Ben when he's going to be rich? You're just a jealous old woman trying to hold on to what's around her as it slips around your fingers. Have a nice lonely life, you old hag. Oh no, what's going on? I am so upset. You have to do something to save this wedding, Gina. Oh no, what's the matter? Don't tell me that things aren't going the way that you planned. What? How did you know? Who told you? Don't tell me it's already on the TV. Apparently George's company is actually on the verge of bankruptcy. Not only that, but he's being sued for fraud since apparently he tried to scam people. Yeah, I did hear about it on the TV, actually. I heard that George is being accused of swindling people out of $60 million. It was also some kind of big investment scam or something like that, yes? But instead, he took all of the money invested and left nothing to show for it to the investors. That's not all, though. George told Ben that he was going to let him take over the company. But now that Ben is all wrapped up in this, we have a bunch of reporters outside our house. They've been there since this morning. Oh, wow. Well, that's really rough for you, isn't it? But that's not the worst of it. The worst is that George managed to escape from the apartment. We have no idea where he is, and he's not picking up our calls. So now we're being accused as conspirators of George. Wow. Well, it sounds to me like you two played right into his hand then, didn't you? But at least you got that $20,000 that George gave to Ben, right? I just hope it doesn't come out that that money was dirty as well. No, you don't think that George was trying to set us up all along, do you? Please, you have to do something to save us. I thought we had finally made it, and then right after our wedding, the news broke. And you two really weren't suspicious of anything at all? You thought you were being handed all this on a silver platter? You should have warned us about George. You should have told us not to trust him. How many times did I tell you why George and I didn't work out? I told you that he lied to and cheated and stole from Ben and I and then ran away with another woman. I told Ben not to take George's money and not to listen to a single thing that liar had to tell him. But you two were so happy at the prospect of a little money and were so quick to blame me for all of your troubles. You two wanted it this way, and now you have to live with it. But don't you dare say that I didn't do enough to warn you. So, good luck. Sounds like you both are going to need it. Good luck? Is that really all you have to say to us? You're really not going to do anything to help us at all? Can't you at least come here and pick us up so that we can escape the sea of reporters outside of George's house? I'm sorry, but you both made it very clear that you wanted nothing to do with me ever again. And now you're asking a poor old woman like me to help you out? Please, you have to realize that the circumstances were different. I didn't realize what we were getting into. Yes, that much is obvious. But since you've made it clear that you don't want me to be a part of your family, I don't see why I should help either of you. I did my best to warn you, did my best to be honest with you about my intentions, and all I got back for it was insulting words and a betrayal by my own son. You tell Ben that he'll always be my boy, but that he is going to have to work his own way out of this. And maybe someday, when he's thought long and hard about what he's done, I'll be ready to speak to him again. Please, you can't just leave us like this. Don't you get that we're in way over our heads? How can you say that you love your son if you're not going to come and help us right now? How can you just leave us like this? Please, Gina, we're supposed to be family. You can't do this. You need to come here and save us. It was a couple days later that I saw on the news that George had finally been caught and arrested for all his crimes. He had run back to his hometown and was hiding in his childhood home when the police found him. Apparently, the person who had given him up was actually the very woman that George cheated on me with. She had also gotten caught up in his schemes and wasn't about to go down alone. George and Trish continued to beg me for help, but as George's trial continued, it came out that the two of them really did have nothing to do with what happened. The two of them, however, came under intense criticism online as it was revealed in the trial that they abandoned me because they thought George was wealthy. And before long, just about everyone knew who Ben and Trish were and what they had done. With no home to go back to and no dream job as a CEO, the two of them decided to pack up what they had and flee town. I haven't heard from Ben since then, but I know that when he's ready, he'll find me. Macy, thank you so much for the wedding present. I just got it in the mail. No problem at all. You happened to marry my favorite brother, so I had to give you something. Stephen is also very happy to have gotten something from you. I suppose he has always been wanting a coffee maker himself, so that was very sweet of you to get him one. He always tells me about how well you know him, and that right there was a perfect example of what he was saying. I'm his little sister, so of course I'm going to know him well. Now, I'd like to ask, have you read that letter yet that I sent to you? I made sure to put it in the same box as your gift, so you should have it, right? Yeah, I have it. It's a list from you of all the things that Stephen likes and dislikes. You even write down in here the temperature he likes his baths at and the amount of chili he loves eating. This is really amazing, thank you. Young wives would usually never need something like that as a guide to their husband. But you, Jenna, you're a lot older, like my aunt even. So I thought it would be really nice of me to give that list to you so that you can take good care of him. Did you say I'm like your aunt? I really have always been wondering why my brother, of all people, chose to marry an older woman like you. Honestly, I probably won't ever know the answer to that. I really think that someone like him should have ended up with a younger, more pretty girl than you. Yet, here we are. You say that I'm an older woman, but he and I are the same age, right? I guess I am 1 month older than him, but that's nothing, really. But that's still 1 month older than he is. I'm sure you don't want to see it that way, but you are older than him, making you an old woman. I suppose so. Does this mean you're not a big fan of wives that are older than their husbands? Do you hate the idea that an older woman can marry a younger man? Of course I hate the idea of it. I have no reason to let any man, especially my brother, marry a woman who is older. What? I have checked in with my brother so many times now to see if he wanted to get married or not yet. And I tried so many times to get him to make that jump to becoming a married man. Really? But when it comes to my brother, he is a bit of a stubborn jerk. So, in the end, I said as long as he was getting married, I didn't care who it was to. So you really wanted him to get married, but only to a younger woman? Well, you both are legally married now, so there's nothing I can really do anymore. But just know that I have no reason to like you, Jenna, all right? And if there is ever a time where I feel that you aren't enough for Steven, then I'm going to have you guys divorced immediately. What? You'll divorce us? So if you don't want me doing that to you, then I suggest you start paying attention to that list of likes and dislikes and do everything he asks of you. I want my brother's wife to be perfect for him, and that means that she has to take care of his every need perfectly. That's why I spent 3 days making that list up for you, all right? So don't let it go to waste. Well, I'm sure that's the case. There's close to 30 pages here. If I find out that you've gone and ignored my list for you, then I'll have you both divorced on the spot. You're the one that chose to become the wife of my brother, and if you want to stay in that position, you'll need to be perfect. Every single day of his life has to be the best, and that means you will give everything you've got and more to make that happen. Hey, Jenna, what the hell have you been making my brother do? In that list I gave you, it says that he does not like to cook. Yet since you both got married, you've been having him cook every day? Steven told me that since he now has a wife, he wanted to start working on improving his ability to cook. He wants for the both of us to be able to cook well, not just me. I'm sure he doesn't like to do it all the time, but he's the one that said he wanted to cook, so I've been letting him. No way. I put so much effort into writing that list, those instructions for you, and in there it says that only you should be the one cooking. It says in there that he hates to cook, so never make him pick up a pan and spatula. Yet you've been ignoring that for the past month now? I'm not really ignoring it though. Steven told me that he wants to cook, so I'm letting him cook. That's it. None of this means that I'm just ignoring all that you wrote down for me in that list of yours. Shut up! I have no reason to be listening to some old witch tell me her excuses. Did you just call me an old witch? Do you get it now? I don't want you ever letting my brother cook in that house again. You follow my instructions to you to every letter. If you don't, I will seriously have you both get divorced. I will not let some old witch turn my brother into her slave.
Jenna, I wanted to talk about this coming weekend. Macy is asking if it would be okay to come here and stay the night. What do you think?
What? She wants to come over and stay at our place?
Oh, she told me she has an in-person interview in town this week, so she'd already be near us. Since it's a couple hours from home for her, she'd like to stay the night here. And since it's been a while for us, I'd like to meet her as well.
Now that you mention it, Macy is almost out of college now, right?
This month you're gonna be out the house for work quite a lot, right? But just 'cause you'll be gone most days, I didn't want to have her over without getting your permission as well. So that's why I'm kind of asking you now, what do you think about her coming over?
Well, if that's what you both want, then go ahead. And it does cost money to have to stay somewhere else, so she can save a little bit of money by being at our place.
Oh? Aren't you a little bit against it, though? It's not just that she's my little sister, but to you, she's still a little distant. I can totally understand you being a little bit nervous about having her over, so you can say no. I'll have her stay at a hotel.
It's not that I'm totally against it, but you're right about me being a little nervous. Just with her, you know that her and I aren't that close, like in terms of being nice to one another.
What? I didn't know that.
She really doesn't like me at all. She's already told me plenty of times before that she doesn't like me being the wife of her favorite brother.
Right. I think I know what you're on about. She has always been a bit too attached to me.
Well, I wouldn't say that she's just a bit attached. Anyway, if she wants to come and stay at the house, she can. I'll be out of the house then, so I won't have to see her any. Just make sure to lock the door to my office, and that will make me feel a lot better.
Good idea. You happen to have a lot of important documents in that room, so I wouldn't want her going in there snooping around. While you're gone, I'll do my best to talk you up around her, to maybe get her to accept you a bit more. I think that she just has the wrong idea of you, is all. She's able to learn more about the person you are and why I'm attracted to you, then I think she'll come around to you.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, I'm going to get back to work now, all right? Tell Macy I said hi. You are no longer allowed to come back here. When you get back from that business trip of yours, you are going to have to go someplace else. You are no longer my brother's wife. What? What do you mean I'm no longer his wife? I have no clue what you're talking about right now. You old witches really are the worst when it comes to understanding men. I handed in your guys' divorce papers because you've not been a good enough wife for him. What? So that means starting today, you are no longer his wife. And that also means that you're a stranger to us now. So don't come around Stephen's house again. Wait a second. You handed in our divorce papers? What? You're joking, right? Why would I ever joke about something as serious as your divorce? I just got back from the courthouse a second ago. What? Why would you do something like that? I get that you don't really think of me as the most amazing person, but handing in your brothers and my divorce papers without talking to us about your problems first? I know for a fact that you have not been following that list I sent for you word for word. When talking with my brother about you, he told me he's still doing the cooking a lot of the time. And what's worse than that is that recently you've been having him do some of the cleaning in the house as well. I wrote down specifically that only the wife is to do all the chores and never the husband. Stephen has been saying that he wanted to cook, so I let him. And when it came to the cleaning, he's been doing it without ever telling me. He told me that after getting into cooking, he's also wanted to learn about cleaning. I think this was all a great chance for him, so I've let him go at it. I've not been forcing him in any way to do all of that, and I'm still doing my fair share as well. Shut up! No matter what the situation is, I do not want my brother doing any chores. When he was back at my parents' house, he always hated cooking and cleaning. Now he doesn't even look like my brother anymore, doing all these things that you're supposed to be doing. Why are you getting so upset that he wants to do chores now? You know why? I don't want my brother becoming a better person for any other woman besides myself. So to protect my brother from you, I'm going to have him call you his ex-wife from now on. Don't tell me that you came to our house to stay because of a lie. You're in town right now for a job interview, correct? You didn't just come all the way out here to hand in those divorce papers, right? And you didn't choose the one weekend I'd be gone to come, right? I wasn't lying about being in town for the interview. I'm going to start working close to where Stephen's living. I've been wanting to for a long time now and finally found a good company in town that was hiring. Is that right? No, I haven't officially been offered the job yet, but I know I'm getting it. Today was the first day of me interviewing, and it's going to be my last. Because that job is mine, and I know it. I'm going to be working in IT at a company that's relatively young and has a lot of good words surrounding it. I think this is going to be the perfect company for me. A company near our house that's been hiring people to work in IT? Is this Green Plus? I'm surprised you knew that. I suppose some old people like you do know a thing or two about the current world. Well, this company is going to be huge for me and will bring me lots of money. I cannot believe it. Could this actually be happening right now? And what makes this all the more merry for me is that I've gotten you away from my brother. I think once spring comes to an end, I'm going to move in with him and start working full-time here. I see. So you had us get a divorce and plan to take my place in the house? That's why you don't want me coming back now. You'll be able to live with your favorite brother once again. And all it required was for you to do something so out of this world. This wouldn't have had to happen had you just obeyed what I had written down for you. Then I would have refrained from divorcing you both. But this is what you deserve for thinking you could be my brother's wife. What? The old witch will never be coming back to us again. You are nothing more than a stranger to us now. You were never going to make it as his wife anyway. Well, you can kiss that job of yours goodbye then. Huh?
Since you seem to think getting a divorce for two people you don't find match well is all right, then I'm sure you're fine with me doing the same to you, right? And I don't believe that you're a good match for my company. So at this moment in time, you are no longer going to be given that position in IT. Wait a second here. What do you mean, your company? And you think you can take away the job I'm getting? You have no reason to be able to do that to me. You don't think so? I guess I don't have a clue what I'm doing then, since I'm some old witch, right? Perhaps even though I happen to have many more years of experience than you think because you're younger, you know better? What did you say? The company that seemed to be interested in hiring you, Green Plus, well, that happens to be the company I own. So in other words, I'm the CEO of it, and my word is law. So I can make sure you never come into my company, no problem. Huh? You're telling me that the company wanting to hire me is your company? Don't say it like that. You have no idea who we were thinking of hiring here yet, all right? Did we ever call you back saying you got the job? No. Today was the first day of the interview process, and that's it. We still have a lot of things to look through before we actually make a call on who we want. You say that, but I know the interviewer was very impressed by me and wants me to work there. And I was already told that if asked to interview, that pretty much means I've already gotten the job. That's what was written online. There is no way the company doesn't want me and hasn't already put me on the payroll. You are right that getting to an actual interview does mean that the company is more interested in hiring you. But that doesn't mean you have the job in the bag yet. Not at all. You will get a call from us saying whether we want you or not, and you haven't gotten that call yet. Now, to be honest, I'm actually glad I get to do this to you because there was only one other person interviewing and it was hard to make a choice between one of you during the first interview. But now you've made that choice very easy for us. No way! I don't believe a thing you're saying about me. You are actually a CEO? And the CEO of Green Plus? There's no way that could be true. No way. And I was just as surprised as you are right now when you said you had interviewed at my company. But no matter how much you don't want to believe it, this is all the truth. Actually, when you went in to have your interview, the CEO wasn't in the office, right? Yeah, I was told that she's on a business trip right now. Do you remember who else is on a business trip right now? That's me. I never really like to talk about how I'm the CEO of a company because you'll start to attract all kinds of unwanted people. And when I first introduced myself to you, I only stated that I work for an IT company. So you never knew about my position in Green Plus or that I even work there. But now you do, and it all makes sense because Green Plus is in fact an IT company. So go ahead and keep trying to deny the truth, but that won't save you anything in the end. But that's a lie! To be honest, I never really cared about you being so in love with your brother. But the fact that you just told me you had us divorced is something else completely. I will not have someone like you in my company. Who knows what other terrible things, unthinkable things you'd do in the office? And I'd be allowing all that if I hired you, and I'd have to pay you? No thank you. So that's why in the next couple days I'm going to let HR know that you are no longer being interviewed. Now, with that being said, you have failed your job interview and can go back home to your mom and dad.
Jenna, I heard what happened from Maisie. That idiot went and handed in divorce papers for us without saying a thing.
That's what it looks like. I'm sorry, but both you and I are no longer husband and wife.
Well, you don't have to get too worked up over it. They actually went to the courthouse the moment she told me and asked about it. They told me they hadn't processed the paperwork yet. Actually, they couldn't because they didn't have any way to verify if the papers were really ours, and so they put them on hold.
Really? Is that right?
They explained to me everything about the divorce process, and I went and told them to throw all the paperwork away. So, we are not divorced. When you're done with your business trip, you can come back home and there won't be any problems.
Thank you so much for doing that, Stephen. But even if we aren't divorced, we still have the problem of your sister. To think she'd actually do something as insane as that.
I'm so sorry about her. Even I'm speechless that my own little sister could do something as stupid as that.
That's right. To you, she's always tried to be this sweet little girl that you'd never be able to hate.
Actually, before having that divorce paperwork thrown out, I asked them to let me have a look at it. When looking at it, I could tell whose handwriting that was, so there's no denying that Macy was the one who filled it out and handed it in. I don't want to believe it, but I have to. I feel just so awful inside right now. Like, what should I do about this?
Has your sister always been that crazy about you? I think it's a great thing for siblings to be close and love one another, but the way she is about you is not healthy.
To be honest, that girl has no friends. Macy's always had trouble bonding with people. And since I was always around her ever since she was born, I guess she just assumed I was her only friend, and that was good enough for her. Over time, she completely gave up on finding any friends and told me I was the only friend she ever wanted to have.
Now that you mention it, I never hear about any stories of her with any friends.
I'm not sure if it's just natural for her or if she's been purposely trying to keep other people away from her. But she really says the most rude things to other people her age, making them run away from her the moment they have a chance. So even on those off chances where she would make a friend, it never lasted long. She's been on her own ever since she was a baby.
Really?
And now she doesn't want friends at all. Not even a boyfriend. She only wants her family. And that means just my mom, my dad, and me. But I never thought her feelings for me would become this out of control. I'm going to call my family right now. Have them come get her. So by the time you're on your way back home, she won't be here anymore.
Thank you, Stephen. I've actually been getting all the work I need to taken care of pretty quickly, so I'll be coming home the day after tomorrow.
Well then, I'll do my best to make you a very delicious dinner for when you get home. And I think I'll come and get you from the airport, if that's all right. Now until then, good luck with the remainder of your work.
Please let me join your company. If I'm not able to join your company, there will be no other jobs for me near my brother as they're all finished hiring. What's going on, Macy? Even if you can't get a job in my company, there are plenty of places to work in town. Well, actually, the problem is more with my university. If I can't get a job in your company, I won't graduate. But you have the credits too, right? No, I don't. I didn't pass everything. So I was hoping I'd get the job before the graduation and then would be able to drop out of school and still have a job lined up. But if you're not going to hire me, then I'm going to have to take another semester. Wait, really? The only reason I failed one of my tests is because I ended up getting really sick. And so during my time out of class, I totally forgot about the test and never asked my professor to schedule a different day for me. But the only reason I forgot to do anything about it is because I don't really have any friends here to remind me of that kind of stuff. I tried talking to the professor about it, but he told me that it was already too late and that he would have to give me a 0 on it. I totally forgot to ask the professor earlier, and now I'm going to pay for it. I never thought you not having any friends would come around to bite you in the butt like that. I tried to do everything to get that professor to raise my score, but he would never listen to me. I even told him that I had a job lined up and that if he didn't give me the score, it wouldn't really matter, but it would help me out a lot. But after saying that to him, he never responded to me again, and I don't have any more classes with him. Now I'm missing a credit that I need to graduate, and I can't find my professor to try talking to him again. I see, and that's why you want me to give you a job in my company now? It's already close to graduation now. I need that job, or else I won't meet the qualifications to work for you. So please, Jenna, give me that position, or any for that matter. Please let me work there. I want you to tell HR to take me back now. I'm sorry, but I can't do that for you. I made sure you were never hired because I don't want you in my company. And with a reason like that for wanting me to hire you, no way. This is all your own dang fault, so good luck. What do you mean it's all my fault? This is going to cost your cute sister-in-law her future. Oh? Who is this cute little sister-in-law you're talking about? I don't know anybody like that. Huh? Macy, you're not cute to me, and I barely think of you as my sister-in-law. I mean, you were the one that tried getting me divorced from your brother, all because you don't like me, right? I don't want to help anyone that thinks doing something as crazy as you did was okay. But the divorce never went through in the end, right? So you don't have to be so upset about that now. Can't you just help me out this once? No, thank you.
try again and see if you can convince another company around here to hire you. And if you can't do that, then you'll have to settle with another semester at college. But I don't want to do another semester. I don't have any friends here and it's too much work. And I sure as hell won't be making any friends now with everyone knowing I had to retake a class. No. Well, then drop out of there. No way! I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Are you a 5-year-old? I hope not. You have too many things you are responsible for now, whether you like it or not. So deal with your problems yourself, all right? I am not going to hire you, so make another plan to follow. After that, Macy wasn't able to find another company she liked to hire her and had to do another semester at college. But that wasn't it for her, as both her parents told her that they had enough of her after she tried to divorce me from her brother, and she only made it worse by having to take another semester. In this way, after their talk had ended, she was able to see just how disappointed her mom and dad were in her. And that led to them telling her to pay that final semester of college herself. For Macy, this was a huge blow to her mental health, and it would be impossible for her to get a part-time job with the way she thought about herself. She was able to find one after some time, but it's caused her to come home every day to her parents crying for them to help her. But even after getting into her final semester, she wasn't herself anymore and couldn't even focus in class enough to do well. Which led her dad to ask her if it was really worth it anymore to have her in their home, saying that she didn't seem to be taking life seriously anymore. After that, Macy tried going to her brother Stephen for some help. But Stephen was no longer happy with her and ignored all her calls and texts. Once Macy had learned that not even her favorite brother wanted to help her, the bright and youthful eyes that she once had faded completely.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.